Yo, bartender.
Bar's closed.
Hey, yo, bartender, what's good, man? Let me get a drink, man. Let me get a shot.
Hey, man, I know you just pulled up to the bar, but we closed.
Come on, man. You gotta be able to give me a shot, man. Come on.
You look like you need a drink, man, but I hate to tell you this, man. We about to close.
So you mean to tell me all these people out here, they got drinks and they got shots, but I can't get nothing. The bar closed that soon?
Okay, man, I don't know what else to say. I got this shorty half my age at the crib, and I'm trying to get to her. But last call was 10 minutes ago.
You know what? It's alright. Don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it.
All right. Tell you what, I'm gonna get you one drink, cause it look like you need
one drink. I can do one drink. I can do one drink, cause I really yeah.
Hey, man, anything, man. Look like you got a lot on your mind and you need a friend right now. Pour it on me. Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.
All right, welcome to Bar Talk with Jay.
Welcome.
One of the things I want to brought to you by is Camo Dumpsters. This is a company I've got going on up in Tennessee. We in Wrigley, but one of the things I want to tell you is not about where I'm at, it's about where I'm going and where I'm trying to be. So again, if you go on my YouTube, Instagram, you'll see how I'm promoting what I'm trying to do. And I don't even think that they understand how big it's going to be, okay? It takes one person to have a great vision and get a lot of people to follow that vision to understand what a vision is.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're doing over there. So a lot of big companies are already ahead of us, and I'm going to show you who's true to you. Come deal with us at Camo.
Be on the way.
That's what's up. Now, I got to get back to this person that's smiling all the dang on time, no matter who comes in the building, no matter what goes on. I'm just telling you, he makes me turn my frown from upside down to a right side up because it gives you a different way of thinking. Craftmatic, how you doing tonight, big baby?
Fabulous, Jay. Everything's good, man.
Let me tell you something. I've been seeing
No problems.
I've been seeing this Minecraft, man, all over the place, man. I'm gonna tell you, I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you, bro.
I mean, it's hard to be able to do what you call pathetically to do. But you made them moves, man, and I'm proud of you because, again, you like, yo, Jay, I'm proud of you. You know, it's reciprocated and I can give it back, you know. So we forget to bless one another and say things of encouragement because, again, I see it and I know that person.
Gotta give props
So,
too.
if y'all see somebody out there and y'all got any inkling of helping, share. If they say anything that's profound, share. If it's somebody that you just like, share. It don't cost you nothing.
Right.
But it shows a lot of appreciation for the person who's willing to do when the other person want to sit there and criticize. Criticize. And that ain't what Craft did. So I did different things, and that's just because I know what kind of dude you are.
Yeah, thank
You
you.
impact the world, my brother.
Thank you, Jay.
You get back to that smile, because, you know, normally you got somebody be trying to cheese at, but, you know, I ain't how you. That ain't what it is.
Yeah,
You smiling for happiness in life.
absolutely.
So tell me about it, my brother.
Absolutely. And we have a guest in the house. Please introduce yourself, sir.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? It's Chad Baines in the building.
We got a young person, young thoughts, young things.
Yeah.
Fresh, new, everything.
What?
And very interested to hear a young man's perspective, especially on the subject tonight. I think a great way to introduce our show. This is Bar Talk with Jay. My name is Craftmatic. This is my boy Smooth Jay. And we got Chad in the house tonight. And we are here to just liberate your minds and souls with a fantastic dialogue. Tonight, we're talking about toxic people. What makes a person toxic and how do you deal with them? And we want this show to be a little therapeutic. We hope that you can grow as you listen to this. Maybe being able to just identify some of those people who you need to push yourselves away from, might be the whole thing for you. But we want you to grow. We want you to make some really clear decisions as you go through this. Sometimes you're having a dialogue with someone and something comes up in the dialogue that you later begin to think about. And after you contemplate it and think about it, you get clear and you get definite, you get some answers in your life. And that's what we're hoping that happens here, So take this in and really, chew on the information and allow the information to help you. We are certainly grateful that you are with us. And of course, we always start the show off with a prayer. I didn't know, Jay, you would do
Man, knock him over the head, bro.
All right. Anything we need prayer about in particular?
Man, it's a rough time, man. They talking about
It
war.
is rough times,
They
man.
talking about shooting down unmanned crafts.
Yes.
And my whole thing is, I don't know where you at, but this ain't no time to play. We got a
Sound
time
like
that
Judgment Day.
we have to get more in tune to what goes on, but we can be able to make moves.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not asking nobody to live in fear. I'll tell you something right now. I am scared to die. I am proud to live. But I'm telling you, as I live, if I keep a fear over me, then I'm not living to my fullest potential. He gave me the gift. I got to give it no matter what. But then some people feel like, it has to be like this. I guess what? I'm going to take over the prayer. My prayer to the good Lord is we all hurting, but we all see what we see, and we keep looking through our eyes, and we're not asking of you. Can I get people to get back to the humbleness of which you've been given, the grace, the mercy of your blood, the things that you did? Because all we want to do is what we want to do. We get away from you, and you give us everything, and we still don't anoint you. We still analyze over things that is not of you, but then we expect you to come through and save us. I need you to make yourself known within us. Everybody want to go to a church. I say get down to pray. Understand what's written and understand what he has for you. Everybody has a gift and you're not living up to it. You don't have it and you're not going to get it because you don't believe it. You got to believe in him, and then you understand yourself and you will achieve it. And then you're not scared of what's coming. You will live a purpose and a purposeful life that he has for you compared to the one you see. They live in theirs. When you going to wake up and give him the blessing and live yours? And all I can say is amen to that.
Amen.
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 And I ain't want to just take it.
Yeah.
But I was feeling.
Yeah.
Two or more are around. He speaks to you. And I'm sitting there trying to tell you, and I'm sitting there, that's a prayer. It's a prayer because you got to understand what prayer talk is. It's about being genuinely real about what he gives you compared to what I say. And I've seen the worst, but I don't think that's the worst. The worst is me not being what he asked of me, because then I failed us. And the only reason I failed us because I lost sight of him. And I kept sight of what I seen.
Yeah.
He bigger than what I seen. And that's what I feel like true spiritual connection is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm gonna let you go with I'm just saying.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm on one. I'm feeling it tonight, y'all.
There you go. There you go.
Just saying.
I'm about to be
I see where you going in that chair, man. You
I'm
ain't going
about
nowhere.
to put the hand over here. Lord.
Yeah, listen, these are truly rough times. And, there's so many large size unknown things going on in our world.
Mhm.
And we don't know who to trust, what to trust, what information to trust, what people to trust. We don't know really what direction, our country and our world is going in. Are we headed for a place where it's about to be mayhem and panic,
Mhm.
even more so than COVID? Or are we headed to a place where we're about to really reach the promised land? And, sometimes the promised land rears its pretty face during some of our most challenging and deepest battles. And sometimes you look up and say, oh, I can see the promised land. And I don't know if that's where we are, but I do know that the Lord is in control. And I am confident that we're going to come through this unscathed. We're going to escape the nonsense. We're going to escape death. We're going to escape the troubles of this time. We're going to escape the wiles of the enemy. We're not going to be held down to the standards of evil people in the world. We're not going to be held to a standard of darkness. We are the light. And as long as we stand up and be the light, nothing can touch us. And so in your own home, in your own family, in your own jobs, in your own company, in your own places and spaces, be the light. Be the light, and that means something different to everyone. But, ultimately what I'm saying is you have to stand in the gap of yourself and be your greatest possibility right now.
Yes.
And, that requires really accepting one's self. Accepting oneself as strong and healthy and whole and complete. That requires one to be, in my mind, fixated on a specific measurable goal in your life. We should all have tunnel vision. in this world right now. Being laser focused on what we need to get done. And, so I'm just saying, be your best, be the light, stand in the gap. As you age, there's going to be more expected of you, believe it or not. And so those who are young, you should come to expect to be leaders. You should come to expect to take charge of situations in your life. Be the light. And then there are those who are older and have lived a number of years. The world needs your wisdom. The world needs your guidance. If you see something happen at the end of your street, don't just sit behind closed doors and think it's going to go away. Go address the situation. Clean your streets up. Right? If you see something going on that's not right, stand in the gap and say, hey, this is what's supposed to happen.
I feel you. We in ATL. If somebody down the street doing something, hold tight. Okay, I feel you. But what we, let's be real, bro. Walk down there, you might not. Walk back. My whole thing is understanding your surroundings, because if it's a real community, they'll know you. And then you can approach it. It won't be a disrespect.
Yeah, I'm
just saying
foolish. I'm call the police.
I'm just
saying. Know what I'm saying? Be a light in your community. What that mean? Maybe tomorrow morning you go and talk to your neighbor about the car that was parked out in front last night.
There you go. I like that.
Be a leader, right? But don't stand on the sideline and just think any of these problems that we have are just going to go away.
That's my generation problem, though. That's my generation problem. Accountability.
Yeah.
We ain't taking that. Nobody taking charge. Everybody want to think how everybody else think. They see things on social media and they think, okay, that's how we supposed to think. We react like that.
God bless them, but they've never been told or been taught how to take charge.
Right.
They've been taught how to be great followers. But there is a quality of leadership in all of us. Mm-hmm. And, in teams and groups, we call it shared leadership. Everybody's got a little part to play. Some people watch out. Some people hold the fence. Some people go run, whatever. But there is a part for you to play. And if you are not being the light, you are not playing your part. That's what we're talking about today.
I agree with that.
Now, let's talk about one of the greatest challenges in the history of mankind since the day we were born.
Hold on.
Toxic people.
Hold on. You can take a shot at that one.
Go get your shot. Toxic people.
I agree with you.
Yeah. There seems to be a subset of people in the world who just are not pleasant to be around. And we find ourselves in their company, sometimes for long periods of time. And we just don't know, what to do, how to think about these people. Jay, what's your first response? How do you deal with toxic people?
All right, I'm having some fun tonight. Just me going through relationships and being hurt so much, I actually was trying to build off of failures, okay? To build a understanding for me, a better formula of how I want to handle things. It's not a guide for everybody else. It's a guide for me because I know what I've been through. So I started realizing I have to take accountability in a lot of things that went wrong because I think toxicness is a poison that you just don't get rid of. All right? You just spread it. Well, my whole thing is for you not to be. You need to have an understanding of what you do. It's so easy to blame. All right? Most of them don't blame. Well, I'm sorry. They do blame. But they don't understand the reality of their selves and their own actions. And my whole thing is I got to take accountability for me. Okay? I fell in love with her. She was somewhat toxic. She acted a certain way. And then I thought I can change her. Okay? Now, that's a number one fault. But I'm going to tell you something. It happens, but you got to make yourself accountable to your own action. If you didn't even think it, just know if you start treating it like that, that's where you play a role that need to be looked at compared to you just blaming her. Because you seen her way, and I can get her to change. Everybody somewhat thinks they don't always say it, and I realize that's where your toxicity comes from. Because you're changing her for what?
Like you said.
I want better. I want her to do better. But how's she going to learn from that? Because you won't change. She needs to see better. So my whole thing is, instead of changing her, let me show her a guidance of a betterness as a man. Because you don't know what one was. You didn't have one in your life. Your father wasn't there. The person that was in you traded on you, didn't want you. So now I have to be the strongest me to make you see that I don't have to measure up to a failure of which you was used to. Now, when you do that, you're taking on a lot, okay? So again, like me now.
And listen, here's the real question: is that if I have someone who's toxic in my life, and I step back, I take a step back, I use some patience, I use some reserve, I become accountable to my actions and to what I'm saying to her. The real question is how long am I going to have to be this way in order to see some shift in you?
Okay,
that's the thing, though. That's the thing, though. Like I said, it all starts with, like he said too. It all starts with self accountability.
Right.
If somebody ain't taking self accountability, you can't change. They're not gonna change ever.
They're not gonna change.
They're not accountable. They don't recognize the problem within themselves.
Right.
You can't tell them nothing.
That's right.
They living every day like it's right.
That's exactly
right. Now, from that alone, you have to watch your steps as you see this. And to me, I'm to a point now I'm old enough to understand that's not for me. I'm not that counselor. I'm not that dude. I'm that person that if you heal from a lot of things you went through, I know the healing. I'm tired of toxicity. I don't want that. And since I don't want it, why am I allowing myself to be around what does not make sense to me?
Well, you're not going to. You're not going to. And nobody chooses to be around toxic people, right? It just happens that they come into our company, and then maybe we tolerate them for too long. Maybe, we don't take action on getting rid of them as soon as we should, as soon as we could. But it's not something that we chose. It's something. It's usually a situation that we ended up in.
Right.
Somehow,
Right. Let me let you know. Sometimes you deal with it because you are it. And that's a real reality. You don't even want to look at yourself as being toxic, but I promise you, we can have toxic ways by dealing with people. And then you expect more from a person, but you still show a trait of it yourself. And I had that trait. And that trait was just because of the hurt I've been through. And that's why hurt people. We don't always see what we do. So I could tell you, I've been in a relationship and I felt like this person did me so wrong. I had to back away. I'm not tolerating. I'm not going to overly invest in nothing that I'm going to lose more value in. So I backed away. Right. That person broke it down to me why they felt the way they did about me. It opened my eyes to realize that how I seen it was not the reality of what it was. And some of my actions was toxic that I didn't see because I was so hell-bent on being better that I didn't see some of my own. So I can exhale and realize, something? Why I'm blaming? And I was hurt at that time. And I was blaming. I also have to have accountability because the information she gave, I ain't have to accept.
And
I had to accept it later.
Toxic is a relative word. It means a little something to everybody based upon their experience, right? So what Jay is basically saying is, you running around calling people toxic, but yet you are toxic in and of yourself.
Right.
And it's not, sometimes our toxicity is a protection mechanism, right? I just had this notion when Jay was talking about what he said, his exact words were that I'm not going to overly invest in nothing. Now, that's a self-protection mechanism that going into a relationship could be seen as toxic.
It was,
right? Because you're not wanting to give in, you're not wanting to give up, you're not wanting to invest, you're not wanting to take chances, you're not wanting to be vulnerable, which is what love takes.
See, but that boils down to giving what you know what I'm saying, you want to give what you can't give. You get what I'm saying? Like he said, you can't see yourself being toxic until it's done to you. And then you recognize it and you're like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? You do something to somebody and then you're like, then they do the same thing back. Now it's a problem.
Yeah, and usually
that's accountability. You gotta self-reflect.
Yeah, that's the nature of our life that, it's karmic law. Whatever you put out is what you get back. And so if you're an asshole, I promise you, you're going to find the world treats you that way.
That's why people find toxicity.
Yeah. But what's interesting?
What's that?
The toxic people don't fucking get it. They don't get it, right? They don't realize that they're the problem. How many of us have experienced a person and we said something to them like they have this bad habit. Okay, I just recently had this young lady, right? Okay. And when you first
bust the app. When you first get
when you first get on the phone with her,
Uh-huh.
no matter what time of the day, what day or night, it almost sounds like she don't want to talk to you. She's like, hello?
Because they need a reason.
She said, hey, how you doing? I'm
What
like,
you calling me for?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, are you busy? Are you something? Because I just say, hey, what's happening? Well, and so she tells me, she said, well, people always think I'm mean when I'm on the phone. And I thought to myself, well, I've seen that, right?
Yeah.
But
No, you believe it.
but listen, I've seen it in her in the recent time that I've known her. But what she's telling me is that people have told her that all her life.
Okay.
And she still don't get it. People have been saying every time you answer the phone, you sound mean, like you're not friendly, like you don't want to talk, like you don't give a shit about who's on the other line. They've been telling you that all your life, you're still doing it, and you don't recognize it.
Yeah.
How many times have we gotten constructive criticism from other people in the world, and we're getting the same message over and over and over and over, and then we still don't want to buy into it? We still don't want to believe it.
You can't change if you don't take that accountability. But as
Cannot-
a man, though, somebody call your phone, what you expect? Money? If you ain't calling my phone about money, why are we talking? Or pussy?
Hold on. Did he just say that? Did y'all?
He didn't say that.
He said it. He said it.
There's other words.
P-U-S-N-Y.
Yeah.
What
That's what he said.
what else we need to talk about? As a man, if
Uh,
you're trying to progress your
Listen.
if you focus,
There's a lot more to talk about.
Can I get a shot?
I'm gonna say it like this, right? There's a lot more to talk about, Grasshopper. Huh? You have to understand that, she is special. You know what I'm saying? She is a flower. And she doesn't know it. And she's got some ways that get on our last nerves, However, she also got some ways that make us better and grow. And, so there's a lot to talk about.
see, I'm saying that in the aspect of
Right.
she calling you with the attitude. You know what I'm saying? She on the phone with the attitude. She like, what do you want? Where's this conversation going? That's what she wondering. And like, at the end of the day, as a man, when you answer the phone, you're like, where's this conversation leading? You need something?
I think
You need something?
I think what it is.
Let me jump
is
in
a
there.
character flaw,
Let me jump in right out there because I like it.
which
I
are
like it because remember, she always come in mad. If you mean something to her, she'll change that automatically.
It'll be a
Because
sweet
she ain't gonna,
conversation.
no, listen, tell you, she'll change it. Ain't me changing because I'm gonna be the one that's saying I'm already busy, and I'm not gonna be busy for attitude. I'm just being honest. She called me with attitude, and she called me like, man, I'm like, what's everything going on? Like you,
I call her. That's
okay, even you call her.
Yeah.
And you get this madness. If you ain't happy to hear me, people gonna be around me, gonna cheer me, praise me, and I'm not gonna be tolerated.
What you pick up the phone for if you
Exactly. If you all that, man.
See, here's the thing.
No. Listen. I got you. We just talking about the conversation and where everybody else might be. And this is what we need to see. Because again, how you would do. You're not gonna keep tolerating something when you feel like I'm being tolerated.
Yeah.
I want to be celebrated. My whole thing is, why are you bringing me such negative? And I just called you like a care.
Listen, we're talking about toxic people.
That's how we know they toxic.
Right.
You got
Let me finish. Toxic people. She has a character flaw that she's unaware of. Just like you have a character flaw that you're unaware of. And you might be aware of it and still can't stop doing it. So it's not like I'm calling her and she's giving me attitude because she wants to. I'm talking about a toxic person who had that shit before I called.
Right.
And ultimately, she will shortly come out of it and brighten up her day and say hello and, come out of
Through
it.
your guidance.
But what we're talking about here are toxic people. We're not talking about being able to change somebody in the midst of. If you got somebody who get on your last nerves, but the shit they do really ain't aggravating to the rest of the world, right? I don't know if that's them or you, right? Think about it. It could be them or you,
It's
right?
both of them. It's you interested in them. You want them to act a certain way. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? They're not giving it to the rest of the world. But it always boils down, like you said, it's like you expect this of them. You shouldn't have to tolerate nobody. That's what creates toxicness. When you got to tolerate somebody, you got to tolerate the shit they want to deal with them.
But listen,
what's
what's interesting is what you're talking about is the nature of love.
Yeah.
What's
You know what I mean?
life? Because
the
it ain't
nature.
gotta be,
Yeah,
it only
it's the
gotta
na-
be love. To like a person, it's still a nature. You have to accept some things, and I get it.
Yeah.
So I don't have to overly accept a behavior.
No,
that
you
I
don't.
feel like good for me.
Tolerance, two different things.
I agree.
Absolutely.
If I got to tolerate a behavior or I got to accept a behavior, if I know how somebody approaching me, they come to me like this. They're like, okay, then I accept that. This tolerance is a problem. Y'all establish that, and they, you know what I'm saying, they're supposed to change. They take accountability. That's when you're tolerating it because they keep doing it and you keep letting it being repeated.
Well, you tolerate what you have to.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
me.
toleration ain't always got a ain't got a two-sided variable to it.
You know,
That I tolerate their behavior because I can't find another job. You know, the boss treat me. I can't find another job. I don't think I can find another relationship. I tolerate this, this house and this, the stuff that's going on in my apartment that they're not fixing. I tolerate it because I don't think I can get up enough money to get the deposit in the first month's rent to my next place. So toleration, I put up with toxicity sometimes because I have to, right?
Or
my
that's just what
position.
you really want.
Hmm?
That's what you really want. As far as
You
a
think
woman,
anybody really wants toxicity?
you don't, but you might.
settle.
You might have
Yeah,
to
exactly.
tolerate,
You accept.
It's like
or
yeah,
you settle.
settle.
you want
you
the
settle.
woman. Like it's
I give
like
you a
I would
woman.
rather be toxic with her than go find a different bitch to be toxic with. She does have these pros, you know what I'm saying, that I like. I appreciate it. She
Okay.
that woman. So it's like I appreciate her in that aspect. But I do tolerate some of the bullshit she be on too because I want to be with her.
Because you want to be with her.
Now,
That's exactly right.
I'm gonna give it to you the best way I can. As an older OG, if that's what we want to call it, older person, I'll tell you all day long. Watch what you tolerate. Bad behavior, how somebody speak to you is not going to change. My whole thing is don't try to make that change. Just understand that there can be something better for you when you release. To me, I don't hold on to what I don't see no more. If I don't see it, I can't really make it. But what I can do is realize when I meet the one that don't look at me that way. And I met someone like that. And that person made me change my way of thinking. I used to always hear I ain't romantic, okay? I'm like, hey, I know. There'll be a lot of men say. Let me tell you something. Me hanging out with my brother taught me about romantic is thinking for her in a non-selfish way. And I'm going to give it to the world because I don't think y'all know how to use it anyway. You give your facts, you ask want to go what you want. But the fact is seeing into her and doing things for her other than yourself. Okay? Well, I did things of when the heat was out, I made a fire in my fireplace because power went out. And I already knew that we needed to have a fire. Now, to a lot of people, that's romantic. I felt I was sustaining life and making sure she was protected.
She come before you.
You know? She needed to be warm. She needed to see the fire is pretty, but the desire is I need her to go to sleep and wake up. I wake up knowing she's going to be okay.
She good. She
Yeah,
got to be good
that's
before you.
a loving caringness that somebody might not look at as romantic. So somebody else, you don't do flowers, you don't do this. They die. I'm not pressed about that. But I'm pressed about you okay.
Yeah.
How your day went.
You survived.
What's up with your kids?
Yeah.
How are they? I'm trying to bond in a different way. But to somebody else, I was non-romantic. Now to me, I can live this and take it personal. I had somebody else say, oh, just because she said it, don't mean that ain't what you are. And don't say it again. That's the encouragement of realizing you can affect somebody better than somebody else because she did me off of what other dudes was doing to her.
And see, those opinions are toxic,
They was.
right? She's judging him based on anything in the past. Let's talk. Let's talk.
Comes down to expectations that people experience something.
Talk.
And then they expect that.
Talk.
And expectations can be toxic.
Exactly. That's where it comes from. Because
Right.
as a man, when I say you with one woman,
Mm-hmm.
she give you this, she show you this side of like how you want to be treated, but y'all done. So now when you go to the next woman, you expect that from her. You want these good qualities in the next woman and more. You don't want what the old bitch had. That's why you got rid of her. She, something's going on right now. So you're like, okay, I need the new one.
But that's the nature of life, right?
It
We
is.
always want something better,
But hold on.
and we should get something better. If we
Even
don't, it's our
wanting
fault.
something better, you have to adjust for better. Because remember, how you want better and you ain't changed you. Because see, you thought you was good enough.
You want
You
what
didn't get it
can't
with the
get.
last one because you thought you was good enough. So that's why I said you have to take that time to realize It's adjustment. That's what you ain't tolerate. I don't have to tolerate what I don't because I have an understanding. That's where I feel like we don't get back to. We either be like, oh, the next one gonna be better. Since you hoping, put the work in. Because I don't have to hope for better when I do better. I don't do the same thing. I don't talk the same. I have took the time to heal from what I was with to show better and do better. And when I get that, I'm not accepting. See, accepting is hoping that she changed and do better. I promise you, I've accepted things and it was better than what I ever thought about because it wasn't about me. Let me tell you, God don't forsake you. You forsake yourself. Please understand your decisions that cause you half of your hells. And I'm just saying, watch your decision making because it could be based off of false. If you pray to him, you understand him, and then you see somebody, see them as an angel, not as a hell. And my whole thing is you've been through hell and you project it. You can't do this. And this is what this person did. That's a hell you went through. God put you through that for you can learn. And all you want to do is give it to somebody else so that they can learn. My whole thing, before they learn, understand that he didn't say it for you to tell it. Sometimes he told you this for you can go through it, for you don't have to go through it again. And now I don't have to just sit here and tell somebody all my hells. I can tell them I've been hurt.
That's what I said it.
And listen,
and I ain't trying to go through hurt again. I don't have to tell it all, but I promise you I will tell it through time. But everybody likes to tell everything, and people use everything, and that's the sadness of where life at. And I don't want to be like that.
What you said is profound, Jay. You have an interesting way of delivering, but you know, nobody's healing, right?
Thank you.
I mean, what you just talked about is a scenario where somebody's, got done wrong, and they might have healed. They might have took some time between relationships. They might have taken care of themselves between there.
Maybe.
But more than likely not.
True. That's good.
More than, right? Listen, if we think about the scheme of life and the trillions of people who walk the face of this globe, people don't heal when they go from relationship to relationship. Typically, the next relationship is a catch-all for the shit that you just left. And maybe you needed some fresh air, maybe you needed a new somebody, maybe you needed a new path to work or a new bed laying or whatever the case may be. But you still haven't gotten over all of that other stuff, which still kind of puts you in the toxic zone. Yeah. And you may not know that you're in the toxic zone. That's what's so challenging about this, is that, listen, it's been 20 years since my divorce, right? Mm-hmm. I still feel the same shit I did back in 2003 right now. But it doesn't mean that I still couldn't have a happy, healthy relationship with my new Mrs. Right. Okay, I'm still healing from stuff 20 years ago, right? Because you don't know how to heal. Life will repair itself, but that takes time. And typically there's not time from one relationship to your next relationship, right? I've had a lot of time. If I blow my next relationship on some bullshit, it wasn't because I didn't take lots of time between my last relationship and my new relationship, right? So, we don't have an answer for it, but healing is a very important part of the process. And we should probably talk about that a little bit.
But that boils down to like, you know what I'm saying? Like hurt people. It all boils down to expectations. You know what I'm saying? You've been hurt before this time. You experienced this, like you said, 20 years ago. You still feel the same way.
Because who knows how to heal from that shit?
Exactly.
You really don't know how to heal from it, right?
So you like, boom, I need some type of, I feel a gap. I feel a void, the emptiness. I need to feel that.
Say it.
Go to somebody else with the same problems. You go to somebody else dealing with the same problems you're already dealing with. Now you putting their problems on them. You putting your problems on them.
It's the way the world works, bro.
It is.
I also went through bankruptcy 20 years ago, and now I'm fat paid. And so when you bring your ass into my world, you don't have to worry about that. So if you can have a little patience on my stuff, I can have a little patience on your stuff. And there's not going to be any two people who come to the table that doesn't need patience for something in particular stuff. So, we don't know how to heal. We don't know how to heal from failure. The only way you really do it is pray. That's the only thing I know to do is ask God to heal your heart. You know what I mean?
Expectations, though. Last two niggas did it wrong. They had that going on. She meet a new nigga, she like, oh, okay, he's saying the same thing, he's acting the same way.
Right.
She don't know you really got it. You really like that.
Right.
You can really change. You really that other side.
Right.
She just dealt with two people the same way, so she expect that now.
Right.
So it's
Right.
hard to break that
And
barrier.
you know,
Let me have some fun. I like that. Let me have some fun, Frank. Let me have some fun with the young man.
Go ahead.
The reason I said that is you want to know about healing. Is when you don't act for something. It's because I took the time to digest the right and the wrongs. And when I entered the relationship, it wasn't off of all the failures. It was off the projections of what I seen. I started making plans for better. Because success is off a plan. And a lot of times you get with a person, you ain't got no plans at all. It might be a plan to smash. It might be something simple. My whole thing is long term is already in your head. And my whole thing is I took from a childness and I got to a greatness. A greatness is understand I'm going to plan for the greatness. Instead of hope for the best, I shoot for the best. Because now it's time for me to put action behind all my failures. It is a stepping stone. I should be closer, not worse than what I was. So when I look at me and I say, dog, I want this. It's no more about an I fetish. It's about a plan of how I'm going to get it. And my plan should not be off an old plan, but it's off of steps. And know that I've been hurt because I'm not perfect. And I enter it with the understanding of telling them of things of relevance. My hurt, I don't got to tell you my hurt. You know what I say? I tell them all day long. I've been hurt. I've been wounded. But I'm getting better.
it's the nature of life.
And when I say it, some people want to ask why, some don't. They's like, are you over it? And if I wasn't, I tell them I'm still healing. And that gives me an open opportunity to make them realize I'm getting better and I'm going somewhere different than where you might understand. But I promise you, when they stuck around, they see it. Because your actions need to change. And when they see that, then all that stuff they was used to is not being shown. So even if it don't work out and you walk away, they look at you as a different person. That man brought me something I ain't never had. And I won't. And I'm telling you, that's how you move within greatness and kingship compared to being a juster and a buster. Because you just listen to everybody else and you just want what everybody else wants. What's for you is for you. And you always want them to see you in a way that they'll stay with you. That right there is profound. You ain't gonna always get it playing with somebody else's hand downs and playing with somebody else's games. My whole thing is I fucked up enough to realize I ain't a fuck up. I'm a better person
And
that pray and change something to be something. And that's not a joke or a game. Everybody want to know game. Game is when you stop playing it and start being about it. Because if you don't show it, how she gonna see it in you?
You got to create the game.
So watch this. Let's take. How long we got, boo? Where we at? 4 minutes. Okay. I just want to take. I got a laundry list here of things that are considered toxic.
Okay, go.
Let's just
I
all.
was shot, so
Let's just all come together and agree on this, right?
I'm with you, baby.
Negativity,
I got that.
judgmentalness,
Everybody.
I'm Jasmine.
dishonest.
I've been that way. I ain't always been that way.
Hey, I don't need you to take up the time. You know what I'm saying? We're not talking about you. We're
Oh, okay,
talking about
okay.
people in the world. Rigidness,
That's everybody though. Everybody got that about.
I like everybody in riches, but I like that word too.
rudeness.
Oh my God, we gotta watch that.
How about those people who have a lack of empathy for others? They just take stuff and
it
they
shows.
pop off at the mouth.
Everything's situational. It's
Right.
situational.
Recklessness.
Yeah.
You've been around people who
That sound like me.
always getting you in trouble, right? Or always getting themselves in trouble, right?
You are.
Pickiness is toxic. Argumentativeness. People who are quick to anger.
They said pickiness toxic. How that's being toxic? Knowing what you want.
You know, some people are just out of hand with it. You can't be broke and going to a restaurant acting like you got all that, like you sedated.
You can't want what you can't give.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. If you ever had a woman going to a restaurant and act a damn fool like she all that, and talking to the waitress all some kind of way and sending back the meal and complaining about shit.
And she ain't paying for nothing.
Pickiness. That's
That's
toxic.
bad. Yeah, that's past time.
People are quick to anger, bossiness, self-centeredness, arrogance,
Everybody's self-centered in a way.
greediness, sneakiness,
Greed is a sin.
thoughtlessness, disruptiveness.
A whole lot of this.
Impulsiveness, laziness, apathetic, lack of self-awareness, absolutionism. You know, we can have a lot of bad habits, man. We can have a lot of real ugly stuff underneath the surface of our skin that pushes people away from us. And we don't mean to be toxic. Sometimes it's a good toxic because it protects you from stuff. But the other side of it is, I didn't mean to offend you. I didn't mean to hurt you. I didn't mean to, disrespect you. I've been in conversations with people who they want to talk real quaint. They just want to have this nice little talk. But when I talk about something and I start to get passionate, I'm gonna flare my nose. I'm gonna have my eyeballs all squinting. I'm gonna be into it.
Now you're the bad guy.
And then and now what you getting all upset for? No, I'm just passionate. I'm like, you're talking some bullshit, and I'm not supposed to be upset about that, right? And so they think my character perhaps might be toxic, but those are typically weak people. Those are typically people non-A-type personalities, and I'm an A-type personality. So I just like, straight with no chaser. That's just that's the world I like to live in. You know what I mean? You don't have to doubt and wonder. But our toxicity can get us in trouble. Our toxicity can hurt people. Our toxicity can minimize our opportunities. Toxicity is one of those things that everyone is attempting to run from, even though they may be attempting to run from themselves. We all want to do right. We all want what's good for others. We all want what's best. We all want what's best for our world. But toxic behaviors almost ruin humanity. And I think those toxic behaviors are part of what is ruining humanity. Greed and selfishness and self-centeredness is at the bottom of everything we're experiencing right now. So I won't belabor on the point. Anything to add, fellas?
I will tell you all day long. Toxicness is also one of the things that you might want to be aware of, but please understand it's worth you investing in yourself to see if you are. And you're not going to look at yourself that way. And a lot of times you have to interview somebody you was with because you ain't going to see it. You're just not. Because you just feel like you just all that. My whole thing is I learned a lot about me from other people that was around me and deal with me. Everybody don't do a men's meeting. So everybody is not around men that can give you profoundness about you, okay? I've been blessed with that, and that's part of my therapy. For the rest of the ones, you've been with somebody and you have somewhat of a friendship, you can ask them, they might be able to open up and tell you about yourself because they ain't with you no longer. They might give you a truthness that you got to be willing to swallow because I promise you, one of the things I can always learn from is an honest person that they've been hurt by my behavior and that I can accept the hurt to realize a change. I didn't ask them for a profoundness that's going to make me feel good. I asked them because I know that whatever they said was going to be hurtful enough that can I absorb it because they're no longer with me. But I wanted to be a better person. And everybody can't do it. I did it because I felt it just wasn't right.
So listen, at the end of the day, we all human. It all boils down to, like we said, accountability. Mm-hmm. You can't make change if you're not aware of the problem. If you don't accept, you know what I'm saying, and change the problem, you can't change it. There's nothing you can do about it. So you got to take accountability. You got to be self-aware. And everybody and their mama, give a damn who he is. You got to self-reflect because we all human. We all got problems, and you got to look at those problems and address them.
Yeah,
and better for you.
And I'll close the show out by saying this: we have to own our crap.
There you go.
And there's nothing wrong with being honest and say, hey, I have a flaw, I have a fault, I have something. But but if you're not honest about it, all you're doing is just upsetting the environment and blowing smoke. That's exactly right. Listen, this has been Bar Talk with Jay.
Yes.
My name is Craftmatic. This is my boy Smooth Jay. We got Chad in the house with us tonight. And we want to thank you folks for being with us tonight. We really appreciate you just hearing our story. Hopefully we were able to benefit from this great discussion tonight. I have some keen awarenesses, and of course I hope you do as well. We're here every Thursday from 7 to 8 Facebook Live. Mm-hmm. We're on every major platform. Please like, share, subscribe. Subscribe. Continue to come back. Bring your friends and family. This is the only place I know where we talk about as real can get. We get underneath the surface of things and figure out what's really going on the inside. So, we're only here just trying to be leaders in our own community. Never, ever, ever, ever forget, folks, that we love you, that we appreciate you. And with that, we are out.
Ain't no last calls here. Bar Talk with Jay.